and welcome to Book Nook. My name is Bethany Kinder, and I'm the Communications and Development Director for Read Aloud West Virginia. Read Aloud West Virginia is a nonprofit organization dedicated to motivating children to want to read. We are currently present in 30 counties and over 200 schools in West Virginia. We have an amazing group of volunteers that we rely on to keep books in the hands and on the minds of West Virginia's children. Joining me today is one of our amazing volunteers, Mrs. Sallie Hart, and she is an associate broker with BHHS Great Expectations. I hope I got that right.
Perfect.
How are you today, Sallie?
I'm great.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, I'm delighted to be here. I love Book Nook, and I love reading to children, so thank you for having me.
We are so delighted to welcome Sallie today. And so, Sallie, I want to talk to you a little bit about how reading has been instrumental to your professional success.
Reading is so important, and I'm going to put it in children's terms. In my business, in real estate, we have contracts. We write letters to clients. But for the children out there, you blog, you tweet, you do Instagrams. So you do a lot on the internet, and wouldn't it be nice if you knew how to write? And reading helps my vocabulary, helps my spelling, and so it makes me an overall better communicator. And in my business, I'm doing a lot of the same things these young children are doing. So it's wonderful to be able to read, and it's been a lifelong love affair with books.
Absolutely. So tell us what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Well, a lot of my work is simply reaching out, doing community things such as being at the symphony or doing things like read aloud so people see me. And I'm not one-dimensional, but I'm multidimensional. I'm a realtor who loves to play tennis. I love to read to children. I adore animals. So it's only natural that I would love reading. I was read to as a child. And I always read to my boys when they were little. And one thing we used to do, they'd hop in the tub with a million G.I. Joes. I had 2 sons. And then the books would hit the bed. They'd beg me to read to them. And so we did it every night. We used different inflections. And I would take them to the library. In our case, we were living in Florida, but for the children that are listening today, they probably have a library near them. So if they can get an adult to take them over and go into the children's room, there are hundreds of books. There's big ones, little ones, fat pages, skinny pages. And my oldest son, who was much older than his younger brother, was into reading. He had a very big vocabulary. So he would bring home a book like Moby Dick when he was 6 years old with a whole lot of words. Christopher, on the other hand, was 2 years old and hardly had a vocabulary, very young. So we'd go to the library. Cam would come home with his big one book with a very long story. Chris would come home with a stack of books. And a lot of them, like the ones we'll read today, have pictures and help you with the storyline. So it doesn't matter if you can read very well or not. Books can be for you, and it lets you go to a place all by yourself, and with the author, you can travel, you can laugh. The author might make you cry. You'd be sad, you'd be glad, and most of all, you might learn something. So reading was important in our family. It's integral to my job. I cannot imagine not having books in my life. Do I have a Kindle, the children are wondering? Sure I do. Do I like to hold a book? Yes, I do.
Sallie, what a great testament to how wonderful reading is. So what are you going to read to the children that are watching today?
Well, I'm going to look in my book bag.
Okay.
And sort of decide. Every book I read is my all-time favorite. So let me look in, and magically we'll pull out one and we'll start reading.
Well, Sallie, thank you so much for joining us today. And next you'll hear from Sallie Hart, who's going to be reading us whatever she pulls out of her magic book bag today.
Welcome to Book Nook. And you know what I did? I brought my magic book bag with me. I went to the library the other day, and I got all kinds of books, big ones, little ones, long ones, short ones. And I'm going to pick out something you're going to love because it's my favorite book. Here I go. No, not this one. Oh, I've got one. Are you ready? It's called Naked Mole Rat Gets Dressed. Ever gone to a restaurant and you saw a sign on the door? No shirt, no shoes, no service. Can't eat there. Well, this story is kind of like that. Again, it's called Naked Mole Rat Gets Dressed, and it's by Mo Willems. There's so much to learn about the fascinating little creatures known as naked mole rats. But for this story, you only need to know 3 things. 1, they are a little bit rat. 2, they are a little bit mole. 3, they are all naked. Well, except for one exception. Wilbur, the naked mole rat who liked to get dressed. "Hello," he says to his reflection in the mirror. When the other naked mole rats saw him, they said, "Ew! Yuck!" And one of them said, "What are you doing, Wilbur?" "I like clothes," said Wilbur. "When I get dressed, I can be fancy, or funny, or cool, or I can just be an astronaut." When the others heard that, they said, "Right, ooh, yuck." And the third one said, "If you like clothes so much, then why don't you open up a store or something?" Naked mole rats can be very sarcastic, and he was. But Wilbur thought it was a great idea. The other naked mole rats, of course, did not. They brought Wilbur to a giant portrait of Grandpa, the oldest, greatest, and most naked mole rat ever. "Look at that picture," they demanded. "Look at his heroic face. Look at his regal bearing. Look at his total lack of clothing," they said. Grandpa did look heroic. He did look regal, but he would also look heroic and regal in a casual shirt and some summer slacks. "Ugh," said the other naked mole rats. "Don't you get it? Naked mole rats don't wear clothes." And they're pretty mad at Wilbur. "Why not?" asked Wilbur. Said the other 3, "Something has to be done." The naked mole rats marched right over to Grandpa and told him all about Wilbur. And then Grandpa asked, "Why not?" Grandpa was wise. He thought about everything very seriously, everything he heard. Then he thought some more. Finally, he said in a heroic and regal voice, "Gather the colony. I shall make a proclamation." When Wilbur heard about Grandpa's proclamation, he knew it was serious. And the others went around yelling, "A proclamation, a proclamation, a proclamation." Well, Wilbur had no idea what to wear. In the end, Wilbur decided to play it safe. Maybe not safe enough. The others were so busy looking at Wilbur's socks. But no one noticed Grandpa enter until he cleared his throat and proclaimed, "Fellow naked mole rats, I had never worn clothes until I heard Wilbur's simple question, why not? Why not, indeed? Do clothes hurt anyone? No. Are they fun? Well, they may not be for everyone, but this old naked mole rat wishes he had tried getting dressed earlier. As fast as his legs could take him, Wilbur rushed home, put on his favorite outfit, and hurried back. When he returned, Wilbur discovered he was not alone. I think a lot of the mole rats went home and got clothes. Well, much has been said about that day, but for this story, you really only need to know 3 things. Some of the mole rats were naked, some of the mole rats were clothed, and all of the mole rats had a great time. No exceptions. And why not? And that's the story of Wilbur, the naked mole rat. And what I want you to take away from this great book is that we're all a little bit different. If somebody makes fun of us, we haven't necessarily done anything wrong. And somebody may think we're just great. So believe in yourself and find a good book and do what Wilbur did. And just remember, if you want to try it, why not? I may have another book in my book bag. Have you got a minute? Okay, I'm looking. Let's see, I want this. No, I don't want that one. No, this one has thick pages, but I don't want to read it right now. I want to read you my favorite book. My favorite book. They're all my favorites because they're all different. You're going to love this one. City Dog, Country Frog. It's by Mo Willems, too. And John Muth, he drew the pictures. City Dog, Country Frog. It was springtime. City Dog didn't stop that first day in the country. He ran as far and as fast as he could. City Dog spotted something he'd never seen sitting on a rock. It was Country Frog. "What are you doing?" asked City Dog. "Waiting for a friend," replied Country Frog with a smile. "But you'll do." Well, they became fast friends. City Dog and Country Frog played together. City Dog was new to the country, so Country Frog taught him Country Frog games. Country Frog games involved jumping and splashing and ribbit, 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 croaking. And that was spring. And then along came summer. City Dog didn't stop to admire the green, green grass. He ran straight for Country Frog's rock. "I'm going to do you a favor," said City Dog when he found Country Frog. "I'm going to teach you some City Dog games." City Dog games involved sniffing and fetching and barking. City Dog and Country Frog played until Country Frog was too tired to sniff and fetch and bark anymore. And that was summer. But along came fall. City Dog didn't stop to sniff the falling leaves. He ran straight for Country Frog's rock. "What shall we play today?" asked City Dog. "Dog or frog games?" Country Frog took a deep breath. "I'm tired, Frog," replied Country Frog. "Maybe we could just play remembering games." City Dog and Country Frog sat together on the rock. They remembered their spring, jumping and splashing and croaking. They remembered their summer, sniffing and fetching and barking. And that was fall. And then along came winter. City Dog didn't stop to eat the snow. He ran straight for Country Frog's rock. City Dog looked for Country Frog. Country Frog was not there. And he looked, and he sat, and he looked, and he sat. And that was winter. And then along came spring again. Country Chipmunk spotted something she'd never seen sitting on a rock. It was City Dog. "What are you doing?" asked Country Chipmunk. "Waiting for a friend," replied City Dog sadly. Then he smiled a froggy smile and said, "You know what? I can't find Frog, but you'll do." And that was spring again. Now, are you ready? We're going to read the best book ever, okay? I'm looking in my magic bag. Let's see, there's one about, no, I'm not going to read about the octopus today, but you can go to the library and get that book. And here's one about big things and little. Nah, I'm not going to read that, but it's at the library. Oh, I've got it. It's called When I Grow Up by Yancovic. And the illustrations are by Wes Hargis. I waited so long for the hours to pass, but soon it was noon in Mrs. Crupp's class. And Thursday at noon, as I'm sure you know well, it's the time of the week we do show and tell. And this week the subject, so special to me, was when I grow up, what am I gonna be? That's something I'd really been thinking about. And I just couldn't wait to let all those thoughts out. So, when Mrs. Crupp said, "Who's ready to share?" You can guess who was there with his hand in the air. I raised both my hands as high as they would go. And I bounced up and down, and then, what do you know? Well, Mrs. Crupp picked, me, to go first. And I was so happy I thought I would burst. I proudly stood up and began my oration concerning my choice for a future vocation. Esteemed friends, colleagues, and dear Mrs. Crupp, I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. Why, I'll be the greatest chef you've ever seen. The world will go crazy for my haute cuisine. I'll tantalize taste buds with my rigatoni, sautéed with black truffles and pickled bologna, surrounded by kumquats and candied pig's feet, topped with shrimp-flavored lollipops. Bon appetit. My walls will be filled with awards that I've gotten for toast on a stick and my Twinkies au gratin with cheese. My kitchen will be the most famous in France, so make your reservations 12 years in advance. There's no doubt about it. I'm certain you'll see a world-renowned chef is what I'm gonna be. Oh, that's very nice, Billy, said sweet Mrs. Crupp. Who wants to be next? Maybe Susie or Fred? I said, hold the phone now. I haven't departed. Hang on to your seats. I'm just getting started. See, maybe instead I could be a snail trainer. Man, that would be awesome. Why, that's a no-brainer. I'll teach all my snails to do really neat tricks. They'll play dead, roll over, and even fetch sticks. Of course, all the sticks will come back 2 years later. But working with snails, what could be greater? They'll do any stunt I like. Holy moly, I'll train them to pedal a bike really slowly. Then I'll ooze through a huge ring of fire and crawl at a snail's pace across a high wire. Then finish by writing my name in their trails. That's right, I'll be Billy, the master of snails. Or else maybe I'll be a lathe operator who makes the hydraulic torch wrench calibrator, which fine-tunes the wrench that's specifically made to tighten the nuts in the lateral blade that's directly beneath the main radial sockets inside cooling systems on X-14 rockets. And since this professional's cool as can be, well, who would be better at it than me? Say, here's an idea. Perhaps just for laughs, I might make my living by milking giraffes. I might, it's oh so cliche to get milk from a cow. I bet all those cows need a break anyhow. Imagine me milking up in the air. I'd use a tall ladder instead of a chair. What? Milking a giraffe? Mrs. Krupp said. Oh, please. I countered. How else could we make giraffe cheese? Now, don't interrupt me. I'm not really through yet. There's still lots of stuff I'm planning to do yet. 'Cause maybe I'll be a gorilla masseuse. Or an artist who sculpts out of chocolate mousse. Or maybe a radio clown. Or a movie director. Or maybe professional pickle inspector. Or big sumo wrestler, or hedge fund investor, or smelly, pit-sniffing deodorant tester. Ooh. Or I'll be an expert on nuclear fission, or else a foot model or a friendly mortician, or waiter, or skater, or master debater, or dinosaur dusting museum creator, or TV repairman, or sidewalk sign waver, or part-time assistant tarantula shaver. And that's about when Mrs. Krupp said, "Now, Billy, please make up your mind. This is getting quite silly. Which of these things are you going to choose?" I shuffled around and I looked at my shoes. And finally I said, my great-grandfather's Bob been a whole lot of things, had a whole bunch of jobs, a butcher, a barber, a bellman, a bouncer, a telephone psychic, and bingo announcer. You know what? He just turned 103, and he's still not quite sure what he wants to be. See, I'm only 8 now, so frankly I'm hoping you'll cut me some slack if I leave my options open. Let's just wait and find out what my future brings. Hey, I might have time to do all of those things. And then the bell rang and we all went to lunch. And as I was sipping my pineapple punch, I pondered professions that I'd like to enter. Maybe brave firefighter or crazy inventor. Or maybe, just maybe now, when I grow up, I can be a great teacher like dear Mrs. Krupp. Did you like that book? I hope you did. You know what? We might have time for one more book, and we're going to read it pretty quickly, but I think you're going to like it. It's called The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein, The Giving Tree. You've probably heard of him. He writes great poetry. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb her trunk and eat her apples and sit under her shade and go play hide and seek. And the boy loved the tree very much, and the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I'm too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "I have no money, but I have apples, and you can take them and sell them in this city, and you will have money and be happy." And so the boy climbed the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. One day the boy came back, and the tree said, "Come, boy, climb my trunk, swing from my branches, and be happy." "I'm too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm. I want a wife and children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house, but you may come out, cut off my branches and build a house." And the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build a house. Yet the tree was happy, but the boy stayed away for a long time, and when he came back, the tree was happy. She could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered, "come and play." "I'm too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here." "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree, "and you can sail away and be happy." And he cut her trunk down and carried it away to make a boat, but the tree was happy. Well, not really. But after a long time, the boy came back. "I'm sorry, boy. I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone. My teeth are too weak to eat them," said the boy. "My branches are gone. I can't swing," said the boy. "My trunk is gone. I can't climb. I'm too tired. I have nothing left to give you," said the old stump. "I'm sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I'm tired," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. "Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down and rest." And the boy did. And the tree was happy. And what I want you to remember is the tree was always happy. The tree always looked for joy. And the little boy didn't see how wonderful the tree was until he got old. And she was still there for him. Oh, golly, I'd love to read you another book, but I think we're out of time. So I'm so glad you came to Book Nook. I hope you'll have an adult take you to the library closest to you and find books of all shapes and sizes, pages with words and with pictures. Take them home and curl up with your book and go places you've never been and learn things you can only imagine.